This is Marty Lattman and I thank you very much for attending tonight. We're going to be, for the next 2 nights, talking about the changes on My Networking Central and ways that you can add your information. So I think maybe quickly we should just go around the room and just introduce ourselves. My name is Kenneth Lang. I run networking groups here in New Jersey, and I started this with Marty, kind of as a passion project. So Marty, why don't you share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Marty Lattman. I'm a people helper and a matchmaker. Professionally, my background is finance, operation, IT, but my passion is networking and helping people. I have my own firm where I do fractional CFO work. I do mentoring of executives, and I do career coaching. I run a number of networking groups myself, but really what I do is that I help people like you help other people.
Welcome. So Erica's here from Chicago. We were just on a LinkedIn event, so why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure, thank you. I'm Erica Reckamp, as Kenneth said. I'm an executive resume writer. Then I've been in the industry and executive outplacement and resume development firms for almost 20 years. So I also offer job search programs for free as a social service as part of my, as part of my business.
Welcome. Al?
I'm Al Smith, someone known as the hired guy, so to speak. I'm in the Atlanta area. Been helping, doing volunteer work and coaching for over a dozen years. And this is more than a passion. It's a promise, because I at one point, when in job search for over 2 years, was I picked the spot in the woods behind my house where I was going to blow my brains out. And I don't want anybody else to be in that position if I can do anything to stop it.
Welcome, Gary.
Hi, my name is Gary Gabasha, and I am fully and blissfully retired after a career with IBM that included 14 years leading and managing a recruiting team. And currently I am one of the co-leaders of the Hillsdale, New Jersey Career Networking Group, along with Janelle Rosino.
Great. Kathy, welcome. Hi, Kathy.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you say my
All right.
name.
We're waiting.
Hi, I'm Kathy McCaffrey Smith. I'm always told by all my friends I'm supposed to say I'm an author of a book called Career Map, Discover Your Unique Purpose. My background has been in 2 types of HR. One was learning and training and development, and the other one was OD, succession planning for leaders. I do leadership coaching on my own now, and speak all over the place and have a good time. And I'm a net giver. I call it that rather than a networker, because I like to go first and help other people, and it usually comes back to you anyway. So it's kind of cool to do it that way. So
Great. Tony?
My name is Tony Calabrese. I am a job search strategy coach out of Maplewood, New Jersey. I am a trained Get 5 certified career coach. I also facilitate a group in Maplewood that meets on an every other Tuesday morning. We were previously at the Maplewood Library, and but as Marty had mentioned before, we're still in that cautious stage of being virtual, and certainly always look forward to not only helping others, but also if any of you are ever interested in speaking to my group in Maplewood on topics that you think are of interest to career searchers, please look to connect with me.
Great. Hello, Gerard.
Hey everybody, I am Gerard Rejo. I run a job networking group for Duke University alumni, and I'm also a financial advisor with Edward Jones Investments, where the focus of my practice is working with people in job transition.
Great. Hi, David. Long time. No.
Not really.
No.
I'm David Shuckman. By day, I'm an IT guy. I had a 30-year career in corporate with a few companies. And now I'm independent with my own company. It's Princeton Technology Advisors. I work with small business and not-for-profit organizations. But since my first bout of unemployment in 2012, I became active in helping job seekers in the job seeker community. And I now lead a group based in Princeton called PSG, or Professional Service Group of Mercer County. We meet each Friday morning. And so if you'd like to talk with me about being a presenter, I'd love to do that. And also I give back by being a presenter, and I have a number of topics that I like to offer different job seeker groups. I'd be happy to speak with you about that as well.
Hi, David Cohen.
Hi, Kenneth. Thanks for having me. My name is David Cohen. I'm the owner of Be Sure. I too am a business matchmaker who branched off as a solopreneur a little less than 2 years ago. So I run networking groups here in North Jersey, and I know Kenneth because I'm also an ambassador for the North Jersey Chamber of Commerce, of which Kenneth and his team just joined recently. So we connected recently through the chamber. So thanks for having me today, guys.
Hi, Alan.
Is this for me?
Yeah,
Alan Arkerberg. I'm here on the West Coast. It's a little bit sunny here, 75. Sorry about that. And I'll be getting to my office here shortly. So yeah, I'm in finance, commercial credit for businesses.
We lost
and I know Marty.
You're
may have to
breaking
drop
up
it in
over
the
here,
chat.
Alan.
All right. All right, go ahead. All right. Go ahead, Sam.
Evening, everybody. I'm Sam Cohen. I am currently the chapter lead for the New Jersey chapter of Career Professional Executives Networking Group. More people would know that group if they are in the eastern part of Pennsylvania and the southeast. There's about 9 chapters in the Philadelphia and Wilmington and Pennsylvania and the New Jersey area. I'm also a person in transition and taking advantage of the services that many of these groups know, and probably about a third of the people on this call know me from my participation.
Great. Hello, Linda.
Hi, Ken. It is Linda Trignano. I'm off camera because I was injured, have a knee injury, and didn't take care of what I needed to today. So I'm off camera, but I'm here. It's Linda Trignano. I am a career coach. I've been doing career coaching, first a career with AT&T as a recruiter, and then since 2003 doing coaching, career coaching for individuals, helping them with my specialty, ace the interview. I use communication as the vehicle to help job seekers make sure that they are understood and are able to really impress the interviewer. I have a specialty. I do trauma in the workplace. So I also work with companies helping them understand how to deal with individuals going through some difficulty. And certainly job loss falls under that category, transition of any kind. Again, Linda Trignano. Thanks, Ken.
Thanks. Welcome, Donna.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
I'll go off camera
Okay.
just for a minute.
Just for a sec.
Yeah, so Donna Hook here. I am also IT by day and the confident communicator coach by night. And I help people with interview prep, primarily focused on one-way video interviews, which are quite the challenge. I also help people revamp their resume, primarily college age graduates who aren't as familiar with what a good resume looks like.
Thanks a lot, everyone. If everyone wants to put their LinkedIn URLs in the chat, that's fine and connect. But I think at this point, I wanted to just turn everything over to Marty, who's going to go through the first part of the things that we've done with My Networking Central, and then I'm going to follow up after that. So take it away, Marty.
Okay. 1 second.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Ken. Let's try to share this over here. What we wanted to do tonight was to show you some of the updates that we've done and how it's really going to benefit a number of you out there, and how it will benefit the job seeker and also the speaker. So in doing this, let's gotta get this out of the way. Okay, if I just sign in over here.
And then when everyone signs in, just so you know, and we have our admin, Marty's going to sign in as himself, and you all can sign in as your person. So so Marty.
Let's do him.
I hate it when that happens.
I know.
That's all right.
This is what we all learn about. So good.
Okay. All right.
Glad
So-
that's never happened to me before.
A couple of things I just want to point out, and then we're going to go into further detail on it. But if you look on the top and going across, we have a calendar. We also have a group map to just give you an idea what this looks like, and Ken will go over some of that if we come down to the bottom over here. This is the group map of where the groups currently are here. And then what we also have is a speaker map. And
Next to help at the top.
where was it? There we go.
Yep.
Okay. And this is where our speakers are. We have them across the pond. We have them in Canada. We have them all over. This is what, you down in different locations. So these are some of the things that we've added for the job seekers to get an idea, and also for you. Now, what I want to take you through is in going through this piece over here, when I go into, here we go. All right, this is one of the groups that I run.
Right. So if you go back, it says my pages, and every group that you're affiliated with is listed there. So Marty, he's just pulled up one, which is Bergen Fang, and every page that you have, it's going to be set up. So if you have 5 groups, you're going to have 5 pages. So if Marty selects the Bergen Fang group 1, it goes up to his specific group page. And
yeah, this way you could, work on your own page without going through everything else. And what we've added is this section over here, the upcoming meeting events. Now, in doing this, there's a couple of pieces. Obviously, we have the date. We'll have some topics. Sometimes we've had some general topics that I didn't have a chance to update it yet. Then you'll have the speaker's name. And then you'll have add to calendar. Now, this add to calendar over here adds to your personal calendar. Don't want to get confused with the calendar that we have up here. This is the Google Calendar for all the meetings, whereas this, from a job seeker, if you want to go to this meeting and you click on this, it'll go to that individual calendar, and it will, populate as, on 4/7, you have a meeting with, Paul Sakala. Now, you might notice that we have Paul Sakala's highlighted in blue, John Hadley's in blue, Maya Olson's in blue. Now, the reason these people are in blue is that if you click on them, what it does, it takes you to the speaker's page. And this is the speaker. This is Paul with his background, etc. And then it will come down here and it will show that Paul will be speaking at these groups. And when a date is set, you'll see person, if they wanted to just look for a speaker, could go into Paul, look up on the speakers, and we could take you through that. You see that he's speaking at another group I'm running, NJ Sang, on May 5th, May 12th. And this is the topic that he'll be speaking at. And once again, you could add it to your personal calendar. Here's another group. This is the one we started, my Bergen Fang group. And he'll be speaking on 4/7 on search techniques. Once again, it could be added to the calendar. And then down here, it shows the groups that Paul facilitates, that people are interested in what he's at. Okay. Now, what I've taken you to, if I can back it up here a bit. Okay, let me go back into networking groups. The Bergen Fang meets on Thursdays.
So he's doing a search for all the groups that meet on Thursdays. And it's based on the criteria that the groups give us. So so if someone wants to look for a meeting on a Thursday and there's other criteria, virtual, not virtual topic, this is going to be results that's going to come back.
So now what happens is that on this listing over here, coming back here, the people, the speakers who are not highlighted in blue, these are the speakers who have not joined as yet My Networking Central. Okay. So they do not have a speaker page. It's just their name. That's all it is. It'd be beneficial if they join. And one of the things, one of the ways it can be beneficial, I received a wonderful note from my friend Janelle Rosino, and she runs a group with Gary, who's on the call, in the Hillsdale group. And Janelle was thrilled to tell me that one of her meetings, she was scheduled for a speaker, and at the last minute, the speaker couldn't make it. And she was looking through the speakers that we have who are registered. And she found Al Smith. And she contacted Al. And Al was gracious enough and available to speak at her session at the Hillsdale group. And it saved Janelle's group the time of finding new speakers and kept it within the group. And it really becomes very, very useful, and it helps, everyone to get to know everyone. So Al, once again, thank you very much for helping out. We really appreciate it.
I would just say also, from a speaker perspective, if you're going to be speaking at a group and the group's not listed here, that's another way to put it in. If you're going to be at a group, ask the group to join, and you can then sync up in the same way, because you want to have that coordination.
The more groups that join the, My Networking Central, it will help out a lot of people. It will also help you if you speak there quite a bit, to get you, to let other people know who you are, what other groups are, etc. Now, in doing this, okay, to do this, you really have to get into the back end of the system. And we're in the process of doing it, finding an easier way to enter this information. At the moment, what we've done, there's two ways to do it. You could get into the back, and Ken could show you on what's involved, and that's actually getting into WordPress. Or what we're doing right now, and Ken sent it out with the announcement for this meeting with a link. It was that Excel spreadsheet, which I believe was called Meeting Date.
Yeah, and I'll actually go through this later on because I have the spreadsheet here, and I'll explain that process, because we don't think that all the groups, there's going to be a comfort level. Anyone who wants to learn how to update on the back end, I'm happy to do that one-on-one. I think there'll be a different level of technical expertise for each person. So to try to do that, walking through that tonight with everyone probably is not the best use of everyone's time, but I do want to let people know on the groups, there's a way that we can coordinate this so that you can get this on the pages.
Now, another piece of this is that the dates over here, we have spaces for, I believe, 12 different dates.
Yeah.
Okay. And what happens is that as the meeting is over, this table over here will roll. And like, for instance, after 3:3, this will drop off the screen. Okay, and what will happen is that as I populate more meetings, they'll move up. So the next one after the third, the first one that will show up will be on 4/7. So it constantly rolls, and it keeps, the group showing who their speakers are. You could put it, one at a time. You could put it 6 at a time. You could put a dozen at a time, and just keep on rolling. And that's one of the major things we've done over here. We've had before, if I come up here, this is the Google meeting calendar. And this lists all the meetings that people have put in from their groups. And from this point, it's different than what we saw. Once again, as I say, when it said add to the calendar, it does not add here. Add to the calendar goes to your personal calendar, but this is the calendar of the different groups. Ken, maybe you want to take it over from here and show what's going on?
What I was going to do next, first of all, anyone have any questions so far?
No questions.
Okay, so if you want to let me take over.
Yeah, let me do that. Let me stop sharing. Okay, you're up.
Okay, so first of all, just to let everyone know, this is going to be the spreadsheet that everyone will have. And it's going to have, for now, you'll fill this in with a date, an event type, a speaker, start time, and end. When you're done with that, you'll give it to me, and I'm going to populate it on a shared drive where it can be updated. So maybe you only know 2 or 3 meetings from now, and maybe you want to update them later on, but that's going to be the process for now. So the date, like, let's say you have a meeting on 3/5, you might put it there, event type, let's say
You got to put a drop down. We have a drop down for that, Ken?
We're gonna create a drop. So for now, it's gonna be resume, speaker's gonna be Marty. Lathman, start time 7, end time 10. You'll put, and I will populate the tables for now, only because until everyone feels a little bit more comfortable, this is a kind of like going on training wheels. So that's one way you can update your page. The other thing that I wanted to bring up was, this is what My Networking Central actually looks like on the side. I'm sure you've all seen Google Calendars before. So this is where all the stuff happens. And this over here is how the calendar is populated on the other side. Now, all of you that have a calendar know you have multiple calendars. There is the ability for everyone here, if they want to add their events to this calendar. And what you would do is you would add My Networking Calendar to your calendars. And the way that would work, if you tell me you want to do that, I have the thing under options where I have settings and sharing. You tell me that you want to be added to this list here, I will add you. I will add you over here where it says add people. So everyone in this call, you can be added to that list. You'll be able to create an event on My Networking Central, just like you might from your own personal calendar, and it will automatically populate to our calendar. That's not the same thing as your group page, but it's the ability for you to pretty much put whatever information in you want. And you can do a cut and paste with a Zoom link, really up to you. This is probably the best way to start. I have some people here that have actually started it. You will have the ability to make changes to your events. What I would, and I'm going to get notified every time that someone does make a change, but this is something that when you go to this, to the calendar, if you populate it there, it's going to automatically show up. Once I log in, it's going to automatically show up on the calendar. So if you've created an event and then you go to the calendar, it's automatically going to show up. Now, something to consider with the calendar, you also have the ability when this does come up, you have the ability to do the calendar by month or by week. Really doesn't matter. So while we're waiting for that to come up, this is the part
One
over.
thing,
Yeah, go ahead.
Ken, if I could just interrupt for one moment.
Sure.
You know, by going this way, what happens, you'll have the meeting on the calendar, but all the search criteria, which we went through, where you would be looking, and as I showed you before at mine, where you would have the meeting dates, the speakers, etc., it would not show up on your group page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it would not be part of the search criteria. So I just wanted to mention that. Okay, this is a way to do it by putting it just on the calendar. But in doing that, you're bypassing all the search capabilities of the system.
So the other thing that was alluded to before was this over here is the calendar, like I said a minute ago, and you can have it, this is default just a month. It can be in a week. It can be in a month. You can print it out. It's like any other calendar. And if I call up something from here, for example, I call this up, and I click more details, it's whatever information has been provided to me, or in this case, what you're going to provide to us. So it's a good tool that way. It's a stopgap for now. What Marty was alluding to with the group map, every time a group joins My Networking Central, they get added to the map. And what you can do is you can call up a group, and based on the group, you'll get information about the group, etc. You can also, if you're so inclined, change the map size. You can go in, etc., whatever you want to do. And again, right now we're pretty much focused on the groups that we know about. The more groups we get, the better. So on the same side, when you have speakers, there's also a speaker map. So if I go to the top here and select the speaker map, same thing. I go to the speaker map, and these are all speakers. And every time a speaker is on there, their profile is created based on this. So the map part is really, really cool. And when Janelle was actually looking for a speaker, what she probably did is she went to the speakers page here and she said, well, I have an event on Wednesday. So meeting time, I need someone on Wednesday. And maybe that's how she started. And she got all the people here who are available on Wednesday. And then she read from their bios what would be interesting to them. So the more information you have shared with us, the better. What we're looking to do is give everyone here the opportunity to actually go to their pages and actually make the changes. So if anyone is interested, if there are no other questions,
Can I have a question?
Sure, who's Donna?
Donna Hook.
Yes. Yep.
When you go to that, available on Wednesday, is there, I didn't really pay attention as close as I should have, but should there have been, or is there a checkbox that says like AM or PM?
Yeah,
or
like if you
midday?
do, you can do, there's meeting time availability, which is morning, afternoon, evening.
Okay.
There's day availability, which is day of the week. Type availability, hybrid, in-person, virtual. Topic, lead time needed, 3-year paid. I mean, or you can do a search by name. I mean, this is all based on how a speaker put their profile together. Some people want to do paid versus free, and you can make multiple selections here within the different options. And the same with the networking. Marty was talking about Thursdays. Well, let's say I'm looking for a group that meets bi-weekly. And any group that's been designated as bi-weekly, This is where they meet, and you can call up and get information about the group. The success of this site is really based on as much information as we get. Right now, we're going by the information that's been shared. And what we're looking to do is get this word out to other people. And as speakers, you all know different groups. You all know different groups that would make sense, not just to join the site, but also for you to link up to if you're speaking at them, and as groups, if you have speakers as well. It's a win-win. And I'm very happy that you now actually was able to take advantage of this without. And the possibilities for this are absolutely endless. So in terms of the things that we wanted to show you, again, from a
Ken,
job site, yeah.
let's cover some question though.
Oh, sure.
Alan has a question relating to the calendar.
And I'm going to stop sharing so we can see. Go ahead.
Okay. For the on-screen calendar, is there a way to filter the meetings? I suspect that the calendar will look pretty full quickly.
There is a way, as we get more meetings, that you can filter the calendar by different types of meetings or topics or something. So that when we get to the point, if you've got 15 meetings on Wednesday morning, it's going to be overkill. So there will be ways and different criteria. Now, the criteria may be based on, and we've talked also, Marty, about adding a zip code in there, functionality where you can do a search for meetings by zip codes. At this point now, we're putting in as much information as we can for it to be found. And then as we get more information and becomes more linear, then we can actually parse it out further. For now, part of what we were doing is looking to make this as easily testable as possible and try different things out. Now, as an example, David, and just not to pick on you, but you do the PSG Mercer County group all the time. And what I've been doing every week is I get your information. I know when the meeting is every week, and I just do a cut and paste over the topic is there. So that's all I'm doing, because the topic changes, but the meeting date is the same. So if you were so inclined, you could either update the back end, the Google Calendar that way, or you could actually create the page, and I can show everyone on the back end how the WordPress works. It's easy to do, but if you're not comfortable with it, we're making this as a secondary option. And anyone who wants to learn how to do specifics, I'm happy to walk you through as a one-on-one.
And by the way, if there's an option to do editing, if you can make me an editor to WordPress, I know WordPress. So,
yeah, well,
okay, or I can help you guys.
Well, if you want, I mean, I'm happy to show you right now what the back end looks like. I mean,
if everyone else does, that's fine. If not, let's do it offline.
How about we do it offline? Basically, the way it works, is this thing. We have the ability with the back end, you know how it works. You can change different options and tabs and drop downs and things very easily. It's a very in sync site. So when we get together, what we're looking to do is every group that has a meeting will be able to add a meeting as an additional item. And from a drop down, you would select the speaker, you would select the type, you would put the time of the day, and it would automatically populate on the page. Now, when Marty and I started talking about doing this demo, we said, you know what? If we go too far down that rabbit hole, people are going to get, oh my God, where do I do this? How do I do it? Because it can be a little bit challenging. That's why the compromise was to do like a spreadsheet like this, put the information there. And maybe the answer may be that when you do it, I'll walk through with each of you how to actually do it. Because everyone here who has a group will be responsible, if they're interested, for editing just their page, their group. So we have 50 something groups. You're not going to have the ability to edit 50 different groups. Like David, you will have the ability to access your group, Gary, etc. And what you'll find is you may see all the other groups on the back end, but they're going to only be viewable. You will only be able to edit the groups that you are affiliated with. And the way I know that works is Christine Dykman and I tested this. We tested this for 2 days, and we found out that it's not hard once you do it, but you have to know exactly what to do. If you leave one thing off, it's very frustrating, and it's easier for me to go through each of you as a one-on-one. As a speaker, you can update your speaker page the same way. Let's say now you're virtual and you want to change it in person, or maybe your availability has changed. This is all functionally easy to do. For now, it's easier for me to make the changes. or to talk with each of you individually. Let's say your group meets on a different day. Let's say there's a topic you want to add. WordPress is a very easy platform to use, considering everything else. There's no coding or anything involved. The challenge is, and this is what we talked about, having everyone on the same comfort level with doing things. Because what we didn't want to do is get to the point that everyone felt that we didn't want anyone to feel left behind. That's why we came up with the idea of a spreadsheet. Give us the information, and maybe the answers I'll walk through with each of you when I actually put it together. Because it's once you do it, it becomes pretty easy, and you can replicate the events, you can delete events, you can decide if you want to change other parameters. But the one thing I want to emphasize is it's only your page. Like David can't update Erica's or mine or Marty's, or I mean, Marty and I were the admins, so we kind of look at everything. But if Marty, and when he showed you today, he was looking at his specific page. He logged in as himself. So if you log in as yourself, you will only see what's related to you. And I urge all of you, look at your pages. If there's something that doesn't make sense or something that isn't right, let us know. Because we took a lot of this information based on what was sent to us. And ideally, as we go forward, this is going to become even more automated than it is. You know, right now, it's pretty much 50 groups, 55 speakers. We actually have our first 2 speakers that found us online, which was amazing because now it's pretty much been word of mouth. So I'd be curious to know from my non-New Jersey folks who know us very well, what do you guys think about this? Because I know, you know, all of us in New Jersey have kind of gone through this a little bit, but I'd be curious to get some feedback from others outside here. What do you guys think? Anyone?
Well, I don't run a group of any sort. I used to, but I'm not involved in them. But I'm always offering to be a speaker. So it's a nice way to be able to connect because otherwise I'm way out in Michigan and I wouldn't know you existed. So
that's the thing. You can do a search for the types of groups. Let's say there's a topic you're interested in. You can make yourself available. For us, it's about marketing between all the different places. Because here's a place where, and I think Erica, you and I talked about it. You want to look for something that you want to look for a place to speak at. You want to look for someone to connect with. Everyone's LinkedIn profile is part of their group speaker profile because that's been shared. Every group has a link to its website. It's just, this is pretty much a dashboard that we're looking to set up and eventually make it go throughout the country. You know, we only know what we know. There's a lot of people that have a lot of groups that we don't know about. That's honestly the hardest part.
that's my second question. If I can ask a second question, I already speak in Michigan for 3 sets of different groups. 2 of them are volunteer and they do it like you do. But one of them actually is a firm that actually does executive leadership stuff. And he's a fan of what we do because I met him when we were all doing volunteer stuff. So I don't know if there's companies that are actually doing it as a business involved in this at all, because they look for speakers too.
Well, again, what we're looking to do now is we're looking to branch this out because one of the things we're working on now, like I have our first chamber on here, which is North Jersey. We're actually going to be working with the libraries in the state too. There are all different prospects and ways to do it. The challenge really is this. We want this site to be relevant to everybody. Ideally, Kathy, you would let your groups in the Michigan area know about it. They would come, they would add to the site. They could do some reverse searching, that sort of thing. You know, Sarah Johnson has a great list there, except for the fact that a lot of those groups don't meet anymore, which I found out. I mean, so they're fine, but you want this to be a marketing tool for yourselves too. And, you know, selfishly, we'd love to market it too, but this is a pay it forward thing. You know, all of us are career coaches. We're all helping others out. So we're trying to come up with the best way to do this. You know, David, even the Breakfast Club, we've tried for the longest time to get them involved. So anything you can do.
No comment.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
But I'm not saying it to pick on you. I'm totally not saying it to pick on you.
And I'm active in the Breakfast Club's leadership too. And another thing to talk about offline.
Absolutely.
Okay, we could do that.
The point is this.
Sam has a question. I'm not
Sure.
clear on it. Sam, why don't you speak up?
Yes.
Okay, just to clarify, so we
Yes.
talked about the calendar and we talked about the events listing on the pages.
Yes.
If you put the event on the page, does it appear on the calendar?
If you put the event on the page, the calendar is a separate interface from the
So it's
page.
so if you want it to appear searchable and on the calendar, you have to do it twice.
Searchable, you definitely have to put it on the page. The calendar, again, you want to put it in two different places, but again, it's going to be for different reasons. The ideal would be to be able to put it in one place. But the reality is that different people have been searching differently. I've been actually looking at the analytics, and it's amazing how more and more people have been using the calendar and less have been using the pages. And that's in large part because there's not a lot of content on the pages now. Very few groups have dates listed there. It's all about the groups.
At the moment, Sam, to answer your question, yes, you got to enter two places at the moment. Okay, but we'll look and see what we could do to interface it, because the power is to really have it on your group page. That's where the power is. Okay, what we have.
And a lot of people have groups that we don't know about, and that's maybe they aren't interested in joining our site, but if they're added to the calendar, another thing. You know, I guess the comment that I would make is we're looking to try to make this as simple as possible for everyone. You're a group, you want to find a speaker. You're a speaker, you want to find a group. You want to be paid or not paid. You know, we're not getting involved in how much you're going to charge or not charge or anything like that for now, but that's going to be your call. We want to make the introduction for you. And then it's up to you as individuals or as groups to decide what you want to do. You know, there's if you don't have a topic, you don't have to list a topic, but you want people to be able to find the information so they can add it to their calendars, and it could be a Google Calendar, an iCalendar, an Outlook. I mean, there's all different drop-down possibilities. I would suggest everyone just test the site out on it, play around with it, and see what you think.
You know, for what it's worth, I know, of course, Janelle and Gary found me through this, and I believe I spoke this afternoon to a group in Baltimore. I assume they found me through here too.
Yep.
Probably,
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, Marty and I have been doing what we can to get out to the groups that we know. So yeah, this is why it's a win-win. Like if you're looking for the opportunity for exposure or to share your wealth, this is a great place instead of trying to do all the other stuff. I mean, we're looking down the road. We'll try to do other things too. We want to feel very comfortable with what we have. And
can you clarify? You mean share our wealth of knowledge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Wealth of
but if you want to share, David, if you want to share your wealth with us, you know, we're open to that. We'll talk to Gerard. He'll be able to facilitate that in some way.
Yeah.
Well, so I was thinking I had to close my account.
So Scott joined us late. Do you want to introduce yourself quickly, Scott?
Sure, happy to do so. And my team just won $2,000 in our President's Cup finals. So I apologize for the delay in being late here, but they were pretty excited, and so was I. So thank you for understanding, at least.
Well, you have to share now, Scott. You have to share with the rest of us over here.
Of course. Well, I don't get any of it.
Okay.
It's their money. I like 10%, although we're taking 10% and donating it here, and we're doing some other activities there. So they've got a good plan. We've got a good group of kids. Good. So I'm a LinkedIn guy from way back when, wrote the book, and have heavy in the career space, 18 to 28-year-olds. And I really like what you're doing here, Kenneth. It's I'm curious what your long-term play is and the direction you're going, because it looks like a valuable resource. And we started something called Influity, as you're probably familiar. Right. And we put that on hiatus in September. So I've been looking for something else to glom on to as a resource. It wasn't catching fire. We were doing a weekly podcast and a weekly activity, and it was an unnetworking or unique networking group. And it was, we were getting our 15 to 25 a week, but it was still so slow go. And so I admire what you're doing here and the efforts you're putting together. So kudos on that. But what is your long-term play, if I may ask? Any ideas?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. There's different levels. There's different levels of long-term plays. The next thing we're looking to do is reach out to other resources. You know, whether it's a library or a chamber of commerce or something like that. After that, to be honest, it really depends on how this platform goes. Because when we started this a year ago, I think Marty and I had a vision. I think we've kind of tweaked the vision a couple of times. Because don't forget, when we started this, we were in the middle of COVID, and we were looking at this from the aspect that we have to do this online because we can't all meet in person, you know, whether it's New Jersey or somewhere else. And then along the line, we said we have to give the option to make this hybrid and in person. And then we have to think about other options there. So, you know, to put on my agile cap, this is kind of like, this is an agile methodology with the sprints and the whole, you know, the whole minimum viable product. So it isn't that we're trying to hide something. We're just kind of going with the flow and seeing where this goes. I mean, we do have ideas down the line. I mean, I don't know if Marty wants to share anything else now or not.
Well, look, what we want to do, you know, the end all is to really make it easy for the job seekers to find different resources that could help them. Also have the speakers, mainly who are, you know, career coaching, okay, get further exposure out there so people get to know who they are and get to engage them, okay? We want to really make it a win-win-win situation, okay? Especially, you know, right now, if you look at it, the networking groups, as we continued in the COVID era, the attendance at these meetings have dwindled. People are getting tired of it, you know, virtual. And we are going to end up going, well, you know, a number of groups are going to go back live, okay? But when they go back live, you still could bring in a speaker remotely to that live meeting, okay? So a lot of things has still expanded. And it's one of the things we're really working on is to really have other people benefit from what our initial idea was, to help people, okay? And we'll see what happens. There's a couple of things that I have in the back of my mind to take that further, but I have to, you know, work and really build up the amount of participants we have in the group. As Ken says, you know, the word is starting to spread, which is really good. We have people down in Texas area, Chicago, Colorado, down in Denver, up in Denver. I got San Francisco, some people. We got down in Atlanta. Some people have contacted me in Florida. So there's a bunch of people that really are thinking about joining. And as we start doing that, then we could bring in some other thought processes that we have to add more to what we have. Okay.
I mean,
it took us about.
This started out as a frustration that I think we both had. We couldn't find networking events. We couldn't find speakers very easily. We had to go through all different platforms. We didn't know what anything was about. So it's like trying to build a better mousetrap with what we felt comfortable with. You know, as simple as that.
Yeah. The way it really, when we went through it, it was, I just lost my job. What do I do? How do I find a new job in today's environment? And somebody said, well, you go to a networking group. And it was, well, which networking group? Oh, well, I know about 2 of them. Oh, really? Are those the best? I don't know. Those are the only two that I know. Well, I'm a member of 24 networking groups. So if you hit me, it was like the jackpot. Okay, I could tell you here, there, and everywhere. So here, this is what we're trying to do. Okay.
Now, the one thing is with the spreadsheet, if you guys want to change or tweak the spreadsheet in any way you want to, whether it's a repeatable event or something, it's just a starting point. It's just something to help me out until you get to the place. And anyone who wants to add their events, the thing that's going to get cumbersome, and I know, Lynn Williams would agree with this. She's got a lot of groups in Great Career Philly in that whole area. She's got multiple groups. She's got multiple events. I mean, she could probably, and it's one of those things that there's limits, so the answer for a person that has 50 or 60 meetings might be, here's a link to my page with my events possible. You have to think about what is the best way for you to be perceived and for your group to be perceived. And that's something that you're going to be able to tell pretty much how people find you. It's great when we hear stories of people finding us online or people finding each other. We don't have to know every little thing, obviously, but it makes us feel good that at least someone, people are taking advantage of the site.
Can I speak from the speaker's point of view? Because this
Absolutely.
is some of the why behind the what of what I do, why I do it. I do leadership development and coaching and HR stuff and everything, but I have a give back heart. And one of the things that I do as a speaker in any of your groups, and Scott, I think I sent you one. I usually will send a free book out to somebody who's really struggling and needs encouragement. So I think there's a whole lot of just connecting types of stuff that we can do from a speaker standpoint, as well as a leader standpoint, because some of these people have no idea, like you were saying, what do I do next? Because this is virtual and I've never had to do a job search virtually before, and it's scary. And I know from an HR point of view, I hear from the other side of my counterparts, they're wrestling with, the technology and how to do it. Can you really see the person and know them and all that kind of stuff? So my heart is to just encourage people and to make them feel like they have something to offer. I do it for the good of my heart more than I do for anything else. And I think there's a lot of speakers out there that are willing to do that. So for you to have the groups for me to speak in is a gift to reach more people. And one of the things that I do after every one that I do, I ask people to link in with me so they can see my network. And if there's somebody that I know, I do warm calls for them so that they can connect to people. It's kind of targeted. So there's a lot of things we can do on both sides of the desk, so to speak. And I applaud you for what you're doing, because I did this in 2008 and 2009 when there was nothing. We had no technology whatsoever. We created 100 church ministry in the Detroit metro area, and we were sharing each other's speakers and all that kind of stuff. So you're doing what we did back then, but you've got technology to work with now. It's awesome.
So one thing I'm going to say, I see questions in the chat. I'm going to probably respond to all those questions later on and send out it to the group, because I'm not, not looking at them, but I just want to make sure that I listen to what everyone says. Because one of the questions that came up, which is a very valid question, is when you put the times up, what zone are they going to be in? If you say a group is meeting 7 to 9, that's 7 to 9 here, but it's 6 to 8 in Chicago.
Yeah.
So we have to, and that's something we definitely have to think about. When it gets added to the calendar, the Google Calendar, it'll be in the correct time zone because you'll be able to set that up. But if a group is actually setting up an event, that's something we have to clarify, I think, because it's very true. We're all here in the Northeast, so we take that for granted. But like if Erica has a group in Chicago that meets at 7, well, that's 7 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock our time. So that's a good point.
Right, so we should just mark CST or whatever.
Or maybe we have to add a column that says CST or time zone or something.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah, that's why we have these talks.
Also, I can also speak to the remote hybrid topic a little bit. I don't have like a set group. I'm booked by nonprofits and libraries, so I'm all over the place. And I do keep having them ask me, like, we want to mix it up. Like, we got a grant, we can do 5 programs. We'd like you to do one, but who else should we ask for recent grads? Who should we ask for high school students? Who should we ask for LinkedIn, right? And so they'll ask me, and I might have a couple names, but this is a really great resource for, what if that person's not available? And then they are also saying that they are seeing the programs for job search specifically. They're still seeing interest in those being virtual, even as things are opening up, because of things like people sneaking it on their lunch break or, right? So I do think, even with, like you said, even though there are on-site opportunities, there will still continue to be virtual opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that we're finding also is that not every group feels comfortable being on the site because of their own limitations. Like there's a lot of groups I know that are state specific or location specific, and there's a little concern on their part about, well, if I'm on the site and someone wants to join from another part of the country or the world, I can't let them. What is that? How does that portray me? And so my answer back is, maybe you can't be on the site as a group, but you certainly can be on as a speaker, and you can use that as your leverage. And these are the things that we've learned from talking to other people. We only know what we know, which is a decent amount, but we really need to get the insights of others. And that's why even walking through this, it's very helpful to get the sense from everyone else here. So if no one has any other specific questions, I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I thank you all very much for joining us. We're doing this again tomorrow, but it's the same type of discussion. You're welcome to come back and hang out with everyone here, of course. But want to just make sure thanks a lot for attending, everyone.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely.
It's party time.
Laissez le bon temps rouler.
Mazel tov on Fat Tuesday.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me sing though.
Thank you.
I
for all
have.
you
You
do.
definitely don't want to hear him sing.
No, not at all.
Thanks,
Not
Ken.
at all.
Thanks, Marty. Take care.
Okay, take care, everybody. Be well. Okay.
Wait, let me stop recording.